Hi, everybody. Oh, Deb, you've already donated. Thank you so much. There was a comment there before I even started, and now it's not there. And I don't know. I had to go away from the screen and then get back to it. And I'm still figuring out all the craziness of. I'm trying to. Oh, I muted myself by mistake. I'm still figuring out how this all works. So tell me if anything is not going right. Like I'm wiggling my camera around for the best view. Just before I started, I looked at, okay, where am I in this again? I got to do this okay, I think I might try moving the camera this way a little. I have a clip on camera onto my, there we go. It clips onto my computer but has a nicer picture, I think, and I just finally figured out how to not make everything look extra blue. But I was like, where am I in this? What is going on with this, right? And I think I'm just about to start the flowers. I'm super excited. And thanks, Dip. That noise would be my cats messing with each other downstairs. Go figure. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, I know more people will join us as we go. I'm pretty sure that I am in, if anything, it's almost a little too warm, and I don't know if I can really mess with the settings more, but you get the idea. I'm going to take a second while a few more people come to see if I can figure out. Yeah, the cats are running all over the place. What fun. I finally figured out my webcam is a little more than a plug and play. It actually has, so Logi. It actually has stuff you're supposed to download to help you control it. Go figure. When I thought, just plug and play. It'll be fine. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, I don't know if I can actually control this right now, and I probably shouldn't waste time on it because it's gonna make me. Oh, good. There we go. Allow. Okay. It is trying. I know everything just got. Was trying to have access to like so many different things. So hang on a second. I'm seeing if I can. Settings? No. Okay. I'm seeing if I can change the settings a little bit just to like make it look a little. I'm checking. No, that wasn't quite right. I did. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Auto white balance like makes things kind of crazy, I think. No, I see. I don't like that. Okay, yeah, I'll get to see me like messing around with tech, but I think that's better. I will stop messing with it. I will just be here with y'all. Okay, so because everybody knows that I struggle with oh, Ophenia's there. Ophenia's there. Yay! Yeah, the buffering was probably because I was trying to get the camera to. I was shifting camera settings. It still could be buffering, and it still could be like my computer's making noises like it's overheating, and it does that every once in a while, and then it calms down, and then it's fine. So I don't want to mess with that stuff too much. It's good to have everybody here. As always, when you come in, if you want to share where you're from, I'd love to like read that to the group because I just love knowing who's coming from what crazy places and stuff like that. You can totally see some of my lights in my glasses. Woo! Okay. I want to make sure everyone can see me clearly. I'm about to start the roses on this, or the flowers, or whatever you want to call it, like the little lacework section. And yes, we always have Deb from Wisconsin. I love it. But then other people know where you're from too, who are joining in. I'm about to start the lace section, and if I keep messing with the camera, then I won't get any knitting done with y'all. So I don't have much more done on the thicker one that I'm making. I'm looking for where the actual, I don't have all that much more done on this one. I got a little bit done on the ribbing at the bottom, and there's a little, I got embroidery floss on like everything. But I was doing so much of Finish or Frogget February that hasn't gotten any further. I'm fully expecting though, since Finish or Frogget February is over, that I can have that the teal ranunculus done by the next time we meet for the live, and I will wear it. Duh. But okay, so I am looking at instructions for round 17 on the yoke, and knit 3, yarn over, knit 2. Okay, knit 3. So doing this while talking to y'all is always fun. And we'll see if I can. My goal is to get all the way through the flowers while I'm doing this. And this section does require counting. So we'll see how talkative I can be while I'm also trying to count. But it's a little easier than doing an increase and trying to figure out where my increases were, that kind of thing. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over. 1. Yarn over. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there could be some noises. They're working on my retaining wall. So there could be some noises on camera too from that. It's another reason why I'm upstairs in my sewing room instead of downstairs, is that's right next to the retaining wall. So okay, 1, 2, and they're doing work next door. It's like time to get work done apparently, and it's not even that it is spring, because it's not really spring. Like, it was a really nice day yesterday, but it's not really spring here yet. I wish it was kind of chilly outside today for what it was yesterday. It was a little damp and chilly out today. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting to 5. You'd think I'd be able to do that. So I'm wearing one of the things I finished during Finish or Frogget February. I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit so you can see this lovely cardigan. I'm really, really proud of myself that I finished it. This has been, hello. We've got some more people joining. Hello, hello. And this was a labor of love. This has made it through 3 Finish or Frogget Februaries, and I finally finished it. And I am just, well, thank you. I got Muhammad Kasim, a new subscriber. Thank you. That is really awesome. It's great to have you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So for anyone who's joining us for the first time, I have started this tradition where on the first Monday, 1, 2, 3, 4, counting to 5 is hard while talking. On the first Monday of the month, unless something crazy comes up, I try to sit with you all for about an hour and a half and stitch on a ranunculus and talk about things as they come up or things you want to talk about. And we got someone knitting a melt the ice hat while they watch. I made my first one yesterday. And I know everyone's got different opinions and feelings about this hat. So if you're someone who doesn't make the hat, awesome. That's your prerogative. If you're someone who does make the hat, awesome. Everyone's going to do their own thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I love that everybody is like maybe working on something while they're here with me. And we're going to see, yes, meteorological full spring. I like that. Yes. Liz would have all of her labels for like what kind of, yeah, mine end up looking really cool too. So, yeah, I'm making one for all the members of my family who've requested one too. So it almost is like the top is almost like doing a big giant toe because you're only decreasing on the sides. So I like it. Let's see. One, two. I've already lost track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I find so I'm in the lace section and the little flower section, and we've got our chart, right? That leads us through it, or you can follow the instructions. And there's a couple of things as I go. The first row of this is the one it's got a yarn over in the middle of the repeat, and it actually is one of your increases for the all over increases you've been doing on this. And oh, we got the Rebecca from Atlanta. Awesome. Good to have you with us. It's actually an increase row because if you've noticed on all the other rows, when you yarn over, you also have a decrease paired with it. Which is what lace usually is yarn overs are paired with they're paired with a decrease to keep things balanced. This first row 17, that doesn't happen, and that is because this is being worked into one of your increase rows. You're going from let's see, we were at 150 stitches and we're going up to 180 stitches. So if everything works out right, if I can keep my count going, which is just laughable, but I'm going to try, then I should end with a yarn over and a knit 2. Because it's knit 3, yarn over, knit 2, and then repeat. So you actually have 5 knits between the yarn over. All this math talk, sometimes the math talk is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I probably already counted that 5 and stopped at that specific point because it's a good place to stop, and then had to count again when I picked up again. 3, 4, 5. I was joking with someone in one of my lessons this week of carpenters say measure twice, cut once to make sure you have the right measurement. I, as a knitter, say, and crocheter, say, count 3 times, take the best 2 out of 3. And so if you get two times are the same, you don't necessarily have to count the third, but you really want to make sure, So let's see. Rebecca's working on the Sunday tea from Finish Your Frog at February, or from if you're doing a different type of February. On ice over the winter. Oh, there you go. And a coffee creamer vest. I will have to look those up because I may or may not really know them. 1, 2, 3. I thought I counted to 5, and apparently I only counted to 3. And how I'm counting is how, like, some people may be very aware of this, but there is a slant and like a hole created by your yarn over. Like there's nothing really underneath this yarn over. So I can say, here's my last yarn over. It slants where the rest of my stitches are more up and down. And sometimes I have to settle that to make sure that I know what's going on. So, oh, we have someone here from Germany. I love that. Is it Heimathafen? Oh, Isabel Kramer is a wonderful pattern writer. Absolutely wonderful. And so whatever you're working on, I am sure it is wonderful. I have a small family. So my mom, my dad, my sister, I'm making all of them hats. And if anyone else wants them, they can request them. My family, that is. I can't make hats for everybody here. I wish I could. And some people aren't into the hats, and that is their choice. So, but I have done so much knitting and crocheting and things for Finish Your Frog at February to try to get things done. And I have a knitting yesterday to do a shop sample. The rest of today, other than working on this, I am taking a break from knitting. So This is my ranunculus. That is what I always work on during these live events. And I totally understand that. So I um I need to take a break from this. So I was working on some sewing earlier today. I finished it's up above up there. I finished another piece for a commissioned bag that I'm making. And I have cuttings here for a bag I hope to make, a smaller kind of shoulder handbag I hope to make once this event is done. But right now, I'm seeing how much progress I can make on this. And sometimes when you count to 5, a row goes by quickly. And sometimes it doesn't. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I didn't count right there. That was only 4 instead of 5. I keep having workers coming and going next door. 1. And having me just sit here and count to 5 is probably not as entertaining as one might think. But but then I can talk about same thing I talked about in the video, how your next rows are going to match up. I will say the nice thing about the lace work is when you do lace work flat, you usually find that there's a lace row, there's like a right side row where you're doing the funky new stuff. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like when you're doing it flat on the right side, you do all the lace and yarn over and combine and yarn over and combine and all that kind of stuff. And then the purl row tends to just be a purl row. It's I like to call it the set row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay, counting. And in knitting in the round, often that takes place 2, 4, 5. Except you're not turning around and purling. If you're going in the round, you're always knitting a circle. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're always knitting a circle. And so there's a delicate balance between seeing you guys without my readers and seeing my work with my readers. So we'll see. I might put my readers back on. I'm at that age. 1, 2, 3. Got it. And so after each fancy round of lace work on this for the flowers, there'll be a round where I just get to knit around, and that's kind of fun. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I may or may not have to put my readers back on just to read the comments. We will see. But we've got Norma finished my final finisher finish it February tea. There you go. 11:45 p.m. 2:28. Was not going to bed until I was done. I kind of did that too. I have to okay, in terms of having to block it and weave in your ends, I don't count that either. Like I wove in my ends on some of my finishes and some of them I haven't yet. I have not blocked and sewn together my grid gambit, which was my first Finish It or Frog It February. But that's because I want to make some videos where I want to be talking about process. So I've left some things undone and I will finish them in the process of making those videos. I did stay up as well. I was so tired on Saturday. I was so tired. And I was like, I probably have done enough. I could do the ribbing and or I can finish this up first thing tomorrow. And it was my Luminous Summer top. It's a t-shirt. And I was so tired and I'm like, I'll just do it first thing tomorrow. And it's March, but so what? It's still the weekend. It's not official. I can count it. And then I tried it on and sent a pic over to Liz. I texted Liz and I'm like, I think it's long enough. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, then it's only 3 rows of ribbing, oof, and the bind off. And so I stayed up and I posted, I think close to 11. I didn't stay up quite as long, Norma, as you did, but I did stay up to finish my last, and I haven't woven the ends in yet. And I'm okay with that. I still count it. Absolutely. Oh, so we got Karen there. And yeah, Deb says it counts, so it counts. I speaking of not being tired, I am having some caffeine left over from lunch to keep me through this. So I am almost beginning of round markers right there. So I'm almost done. Let's see if I did this row right. Because if I did, it should end with 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, knit 2. It did. Woohoo! So again, in theory, I have 180 stitches now. I'm not counting them. I'm just going right on to row 18. This is the only way I'm going to make any progress with y'all as I'm chatting with y'all and stuff, is if I just keep going. So, and I hit those yarn overs and they feel weird, and that's okay. I'm going to leave them because we want the holes there. That's the whole point. So this is my set row. I just did my increase / lace row, and this is my set row, and hopefully it goes a little bit faster because I'm not having to count and talk. I'm just talking and knitting. So, but I say it should go faster. I'm also trying to be an example of how speed doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, this ranunculus is going to take me a really long time. I saw a comment before I opened up. I don't know if it's still there or not, that someone said they might finish before the live started. And that's awesome. That's really wonderful. Everyone, it's going to take their own amount of time to finish. Oh, good. Yes, it was a Jen. Okay, so Jen and Stitches. Awesome. I saw it and then I had to leave the screen, or I tried to fix which camera was going to be on because I've got a nicer camera on, and it suddenly tried to start a new one. I was like, no. And I finally got back to the old one and figured out how to do things. And I was like, where'd the comment go? It was a cool one. So that's awesome. That is really good to hear that you're here. And whether or not you finished it, oh, cool. There you go. You are really close. And I discovered I've done on this one, I haven't done the sleeves yet. And I want to make long sleeves because this one's a lot thicker. But I have 2 inches of ribbing there. I still need at least 2 more. It's not really long enough. I was just trying to be done with it. And yeah, I should know better that when I try it on, it's going to feel a lot shorter than it did when I was knitting. Because when something is flat or on here, it'll feel a lot longer than when it's around a round body. And I have a round body. And so it's going to feel shorter. But it's all good. All good. So, and it's not about speed. Unless that is what brings you joy. I find for a lot of people, the speed, whether it's fast or slow, is something that more stresses them out. And so it's a way to get accustomed to where you are and how you knit. And if your goal is to be faster, if that is going to bring you joy and not frustrate you, all the more power to you. But I'm trying to knit this and explain things as I go, and more find joy in just hanging out with y'all and working on it, no matter how long it takes. Yeah. You said I'm very round and very boobular. I like that, because me too. The girls, I just call them the girls. The girls are big. And yes, that makes everything feel shorter because it pulls it up higher, right? Or whether your girls sit high or low, it pulls up the bottom of your garment. And different people have different ways of solving that. Mine is simply to keep knitting, to make it longer. I can't say I'm not a fan of bust darts. I just really haven't tried them because I'm more of a fan of not changing patterns terribly much. if I can avoid it, of letting things drape and not trying to stress out over what is happening with the fit in that way. I will say I really do love. Okay, what is this light over here? Oh, okay. It's engaging with the audience, which I think means typing, and I can't do that while I'm knitting, so I'm not going to worry about that. I find that yeah, it's what was I saying? The joy of knitting, right? It's enjoying it. Oh, that's what I was saying. Okay. I One of the things I love about knitting is the idea, at least, the concept that you can change things in what you're making to suit your body. And that can go as far as bust darts and all kinds of fancy things. And but I'm not the one who's necessarily going to know how to do that. I do really love that there's the possibility to alter things. I tend to stick to simpler alterations like shorter sleeves. And I can pick a size that maybe will be a little bit less positive ease on the girls, but will still fit me, the rest of me, really well. Longer torso because I know it's going to pull up over the girls. So, um, okay, so short rows under the bust to drop it lower where I have the more weight. Okay, if you have figured out how to do that, that is fantastic. That is a very doable thing. Not my area of expertise. So I have a lot of people who will contact me and say, so this is what I want to learn. This is what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, this I can teach. This one we could both struggle through together, but I wouldn't come to me for the expertise of knowing how to do it on the first try. So, so all right, where are we? See, I'm almost back to that beginning of round marker again. I find, I did do 6 inches of ribbing on that hat yesterday. But it was also the hat and not the hem of a garment because that's a lot more stitches usually. So now that I'm done with Finish Your Frog at February, I always feel torn at the end of the month because I've assessed all my patterns and I think I did a great job. I cut out like 17 or 18 projects, whether I finished them, I frogged them, or I retired or bound them off. And then there's the dilemma. Not a huge dilemma, but then there's the what do I want to do now? Do I want to start new projects or keep this momentum going on the ones that I've managed to finish, or like the ones that I've pledged to finish that are still going to take a little time? How long do we keep working on them before I say I've lost the will to knit and I need to start something new? There's a little bit in me that both wants to start new things and wants to finish things up because it went so well in February. And y'all know my pattern so far. I will have at least as many things next February as I did at the beginning of this February. So we'll see how that goes. But all right, I'm almost back. There's my beginning of round marker. And then I get to try my next lace. Jen says, I think of knitting with my sewing brain for adjustments. Okay, that's true. It is just fabric after all. And if you've done more with sewing, you'll have an idea of how to do that. Some people can conceptually, like they're very visual or spatial thinkers, and they've done enough with other types of crafting sometimes to be able to modify like that. And that is wonderful. That is awesome. I find some of it's not just more beginner knitters, but I find I do have some knitters that I help to start to see, like reading your stitches and understanding how stitches function. Like that's the main purpose of my tutorial channel is to really help people learn how decreases function, how increases, how cables function, how all these things function, because then if you want to use them in the way that Jen is, you can, which I think is really awesome. So, okay, I'm at my beginning round marker. I am on to row 19. And this has a little bit more thinking to do, but because there's not a lot of stitches between them, hopefully, I can get a rhythm going. And I remember when I made the videos for the Ranunculus, there's a rhythm to how this is going to work. So knit one, knit two together, yarn over, knit one, yarn over, slip, slip, knit. Let's see. And yeah, how it should end up is your knit one, like you've got 2 holes happening. You're making 2 holes on this, and your knit one should end up over the hole from the first row. So, and I think as long as I do the knit one, yeah. So the knit 2 together, got it. All right. Triple F February. I saw that and I was like, that's different than what we call it, but I think it's the same thing. So finish frog or F it. But you know, like it doesn't mean it has to end in February. It's the kind of, it's like, okay, I do religious studies as my degrees before I jump ship, and then you started doing the yarn shop. And one of the things for in Lent for some Christians, it's the idea of giving up something that you crave or want or things, and it's only for Lent, but it's the idea that you might give it up for longer. You get in the habit and the routine, then that addiction or craving or thing that maybe wasn't so good for you, that you could make the healthy choice last, kind of a thing. And so, yeah, Finish Your Frog in February can be the secular version of that, where you're, you know, paring down in the hopes that this is something that can carry forward. I find I keep returning to it but I'm still better. I will say I'm still better than the first year that I did Finish Your Frog at February. I had 60 projects on needles. And I'm not counting personal projects though at this point. I'm only counting projects that I've started for the shop. And 60 projects on needles, that was a lot. I did cut it in half though. I did get down to 30. And I want to say the second year, I had 40 projects when I started. And I don't know if I've cut out a full 20. My goal is always to reduce what's sitting there unfinished on my to-do list, to reduce it by half. And just going along, actually having a more complicated row is somewhat helping me here. The third year, it was about 30 projects. And I don't know if I got a full 15 off. But this time I called it 30. It was more than 30. So because one of the things I frogged on the last day was a Sophie scarf I started with mohair. It's actually the second or third time I've tried to do the Sophie scarf. The first time it was with a glittery yarn and a cashmere fuzzy. And the second time it was double-stranded mohair held with the glittery yarn. And it was sitting in the living room of the shop, just not having anything done on it. So I was just like this, but that wasn't on my original third list of 30, you know? So yeah, I added to the rip out list, but it also added to the total number I started with list. Like right now I've got, I said 30 plus at the beginning of the month, and I have, I think 17 or so things officially listed on my pledge to finish. And there's more, one of the headings is multiple pairs of socks. And so that's more than one. But at some point I will get back to those socks and I will finish them. So, yeah, it's going to be different for everybody how they navigate that time if they choose to engage in it. And I find for March and maybe a little of April, I'm still cognizant of Finish Your Frog at February. I'm still kind of paying attention to, I don't want to let this number get too high, but it creeps up. It creeps up and down. And it's not like February is the only month that I finish things, right? I do still get stuff done. I got stuff done in January. Um, I have finished, especially small things. But I will say I probably get the most stuff done per month in February. I got 5 projects finished up. I did not start them in February. Full disclosure. I did not start them. Can you imagine? I mean, if I had done some hats or something, I could have started and finished them in February, I think. But a lot of them were projects. One of the projects I thought I would finish was a scarf, and that is still maybe halfway done, maybe not. It's a good 60 inches of knitting. And even though it's a small row, that's been taking me a while. So, can't forget to do a decrease on this side. All right. I'm a little over halfway through my row. It helps to have y'all here distracting me. So this is good. Once again, if anyone feels comfortable sharing where they're joining us from, we've already had several countries represented, which is always fun. And I didn't really advertise strongly for this one. Oh, Jen's in Norway. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I just was like, you know what? If people know this happens, they're here, and if they don't, it's okay. You know. There was a time when I was really trying to generate a lot of interest, and I still wasn't doing half of what YouTubers generally do. And I have so many other things I'm also trying to do. I'm just like, okay, this is going to go how it's going to go. Okay, Florida. There you go. I love it. I love it. I really do. Canada. There we go. I already saw up there Germany. I know I saw other things and I'm forgetting them already. I know we have Wisconsin. Got a lot of fun stuff. It's really good. So now that Finish Your Frog in February is over, I could get back to the set of gloves I was making. It's not really cold enough, but we could still have some chilly days. Oh, Philly, there we go. There's Edith. Yep. We could still have chilly days. I've been having gloves from 2 different pairs, like one that I lost a glove and one that I've only knit one. But it still works. Nashville. There we go. We're adding to our state tally on top of our country tally. That's fantastic. Yeah, I just love hanging with y'all. Oh, Marta, awesome. Marta, I saw your comment on the sideshow video, and I totally agree. And I think a lot of what you're saying is, in another Canada, different place, Ontario and Quebec now both. But getting back, Marta, what you were saying about art and craft, that's really what my little somewhat more auditory podcast I'm getting going is about. And so I very much agree with you. And I saw that comment. I just haven't been able to reply to it. And so I'm making sure I acknowledge it right now. So, there you go. I'm reading the comment. I should try to read it all out loud too. But so there's another kind of someone else is finishing one of theirs and finishing it with them, but then doing it with me too. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate that my videos help. I'm always I'm not as shocked as I was for a while, but it always warms my heart to hear that people have been using my videos and they've been helpful. I had no idea so many people would start watching them, but it's really, really cool. New Zealand. Hey, that's fantastic. There we go. We keep going wider and wider here. Denmark. This is awesome. Thank y'all for mentioning where you're from. It's so neat to see the connections to, like, it feels like it both makes the world feel big and small at the same time. And I really like that. So, all right, I'm coming up on my my stitch marker here. Let's see. What did I just do? Okay. I'm like, where am I in my repeat? This is round 19. And apparently I've been doing this almost 30 times, but I'm not counting. I'm paying attention to where my knit one in the middle of my 2 yarn overs ends up, and that is staying balanced. And the biggest thing I find on this row 19 is, just like a lot of the rows that repeat stuff, is remembering that there is a knit one at the beginning of your repeat. And I'm ending with a slip knit, which is just the way it should be going. Yay. Oh, someone used one of my videos on stranded color work. Thank you. Awesome. And that one, I don't think I've updated that one in a while, but I can't remember. So I was telling someone the other day that I have videos on intro to crochet because I was teaching them crochet. And I said, I made it like 4 or 5 years ago, probably more like 6 years ago now. And they said, I look a lot different, but it's still me. And I still think I teach in mostly the same way. I think I've evolved over time, but the concepts are relatively similar. Sometimes I change my language up a little bit. And another help. Thanks for help with the ranunculus. Oh, okay. So Jen says she saw someone else making a ranunculus. She wanted to make it, and then my videos helped make sense of it or kind of put it all together, which is cool. All right, I'm on round 20, which means I just get to knit around. I do find this is a weird thing for me. So when the knitting is more complicated at this point in my knitting journey, it keeps me going more. So I think, for what we usually do during these lives, kind of flying through this lace work because every other row is really interesting. And as long as I can do it while I'm talking to you. Oh, and Linda's here from Australia. That's awesome. We get New Zealand and Australia. Fourth ranunculus. Oh, for the special girls in my life. That is so cool. You're welcome. And thank you for watching. The ranunculus still tops the most watched videos on this channel. We have people at our virtual sit and stitch on Tuesdays who say they found me in different ways. Some people found me from the ranunculus. Some people found me through pressed flowers. I did some videos on to assist with those. And some people found me through videos on the papillon and like the butterfly shawl. And those are the 3 that I've done the most assistance videos on. And since then, everyone's like, can you do a set of videos for this and a set of videos for that? And it's really hard to do that. I've said it multiple times to replicate that for every sweater or every specific thing out there. I really tried with the free videos at this point, the free access on YouTube, to have them be skills. Like someone was saying, they looked at my color work one. Mosaic is one that the pressed flowers videos can definitely help with. And we're kind of designed around that idea. I want to do some series on specific patterns, not to tell you the whole pattern, but to assist you with the pattern you've purchased. And I still have hopes and dreams of doing the grid gambit for my first one. I did not get it done last week because there was a lot going on, and I had some pre-migraine things happening in the mornings that if I had tried to make a video, I would have just plummeted off the cliff. Instead, I took my time trying to treat that and deal with that, and have mostly stayed out of the worst effects of the migraines that come from hormones and stress. So, and Lisa was saying she finished her first ranunculus thanks to the videos I made. So you're welcome. You're welcome. It's really awesome when those can help. So I will be completely honest. Sometimes I go back and watch my own videos when I forget how to do part of this. Especially some of the cast on things. And like the underarm like separation of sleeves and stuff, there's things that I will look at my own videos and go, oh, that's right. That's how you do that. The bind off for the bottom of when I get to the bottom of this, I kind of remember at this point. And there's some things with this, some versions of cast on and bind off and other things that you can really go in your own direction on and do your own version of, and things will be okay. There's other parts of it that are really helpful to do exactly what she says. So I know that Liz is trying to do a cardigan version right now, and I think she's going to steek it. So she's knitting it in the round, and then she's going to cut it with several reinforcing elements before she does that. And don't ask me for advice on steeking. I have only done one little teapot for my dad, teapot cover for my dad once, and it was mildly terrifying. It went fine, but it was kind of terrifying to cut your knitting. So I know a lot of people do it all the time, and that's fantastic. That's really wonderful. Oh, Jen was saying she's not a fan of the cast on. I totally get that. Okay, making sure I'm hitting a stitch and not letting it drop. Okay. Yeah. And the 70 stitches German twisted, it's all good. A lot of people have, like Liz included, have gone to a different cast on or got cast on 90, which is what it increases to afterwards. There's lots of ways to modify the neckline. You don't have to do exactly as she wrote it. It's customizable. It's one of the things I really like about the Ranunculus. And it's, as long as you can figure out how to get back on track, like if you cast on 70 instead of the 90, and then it's, if you need to modify to the 90, you have to figure out how to change your increase round so it gets you to the right spot to keep going. And know it will look different, know that things will come out a little different. And then kind of figure it out from there. Sometimes it's some math involved. I will say, having one of the more complicated things be the very first thing you do, like a funky loose cast on for the collar. It's kind of like when I'm teaching knitting and I teach them long tail cast on first. And it's like, okay, first we're going to do the crazy stuff, and then it's going to get easier after that. And just trust me on that. So it's the same thing with teaching crochet. It's like, for me, it's like, okay, we're going to chain. Easy enough. Starts getting you used to the hook and all the things you're going to do. And then we're going to do a row of single into that chain, which is a lot harder than the next row. So we need to get over a hard part before we get to the easy part. And not the most ideal way to learn a skill, but kind of necessary. And then in some ways, once you're done, you can say, look what you just did. Now things get easier. Yeah. All right. I just finished my knit row after. So if you're taking a look, I feel like I need to put it somewhere where, okay, maybe if I go like this, like right there, I can see that a lot better. I got the 1 and then the 2. So it's hard to see it when it's on the needle, but if you move it past the needle, sometimes you can see. There we go. I have the single hole, the 2 holes on the outside. So I'm going to go back to a single hole now. And this one, the first round where there was the 1 hole of these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one, like I said, was an increase round. And now I'm on round 21. And this one is not an increase round. So we're not just going to knit a certain number and yarn over. And if we did that without decreasing to compensate for the hole, you're making a hole on purpose and you're decreasing 2 stitches together so your stitch count does not change. And like the one I just did had one decrease on one side and 1 on the other, but there were 2 holes and 2 decreases to make everything line back up again. And this row I find is a little bit, it can feel like you're not doing it right. And then it'll line up right when you're done. And so let me dive into it. So it's knit 3, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1. And then I have to remember to knit 3 again. So it's the 1 and then 1, 2, 3. And it'll feel like you're doing a yarn over the first hole from the row below. But by doing an SSK, a slip, slip, knit that involves the middle stitch, you're pulling that off to the side, and that pulls your yarn over right into the center where it's supposed to be. So, so now I'm going to get into the rhythm of, instead of having my stitches, I could have been marking every repeat. And personally didn't have time for that. You do what works for you. Now that I'm over the first repeat, I'm going to, after every slip, slip, knit, I'm going to knit 4, which is going to put me over that first hole, make a hole on purpose, do a decrease. That's going to pull the hole centered again. And I'm going to go around and finish that. And this is going to be awesome because before 4 o'clock, I'm going to have my whole lacework pattern done, which is really exciting. It's not quite to where I get to pick a size. I don't think I'm picking a size until next month. But that's okay. I have a lot of other things to work on. So Jen said, I could not have done all the changes I did to make this fit right 25 years ago when I started knitting. Now I'm like, well, frogging's always an option. I know. And some people are just more like, if it doesn't work, I'll pull it out. I'll frog it. I'll get back into it. And some people don't want to do that. And it's really, we like to say in the shop, it's where is your I don't care bar? And I just did 3 instead of 4. Okay, we got it. I'm back on track. And the running joke that I tell people, it's not so much a running joke because it's the first time they've heard it. They think it's hilarious when it's the first time they've heard it. Is we say, where's your I don't care bar? And I say, Liz's is on the floor. She doesn't even have to pick her skirts up to step over it. She's just like, I don't care. I'm going to keep going. And we have a friend whose I don't care bar is at the ceiling, if not above it. So she has to pole vault over it, which means she is going to back out and do some crazy things because she wants it to be absolutely as perfect as she can get it. And what I say is the really important thing about that is, yes, it is Amy D. one of our regulars knows who I'm talking about. The important thing about that, though, is neither one of those people is right or wrong. They just have what works for them, what is right for them. Amy is willing to put in the work to make it what she wants it to be. And Liz is okay with letting things lie because that is the way she wants it to be. So it's not that there's a set number of mistakes that make something good or bad. It really is what is going to make you happy. I am a firm believer in that. What is going to make you happy? If going back and fixing and doing what Amy would do surgery on this, if there was a problem with the lace work down or the yarn over things in here, she would drop this chunk down and fix it and pull it back up or rip it all out if she couldn't figure out a way to drop it down. And because leaving it there would drive her bonkers. Now, Liz, having to fix it would drive her bonkers. And leaving it there is just fine with her. Leaving it there, she'll call it a design element, she'll move on, and no one will probably notice it when it's done. So, but dropping down and trying to fix something might drive her bonkers. So it really is what's the thing that's going to make you happiest? That's what you should do. And that might be very, very different than what someone else will tell you to do. right? I try to check in with my customers who come for help and say, well, we can do X, Y, or Z, but what do you want to do? And okay, we got a couple comments in here. I am a fix this so long as the fix will not make me want to set it on fire level. Um, to make it work. Yes. And Karen's saying it's a hobby to bring us joy, find your own joy. Yeah. Honestly, for my friend Amy, fixing things to make them look better is what brings her joy. And all the more power to her. But she like her standard of where things look good to her is different than someone else's. And her standard for what looks good to her on her work is not going to be how she judges someone else's work. It's not like she looks for errors in other people's stuff. She says that's beautiful. And I find we tend to be harder on ourselves than we are on others. So, on the whole, us creative, crafty bunch. So, um, we take it as it comes. And I want to meet people where they are and try to help them where they are instead of saying, don't worry about it. It's fine. If that's not what they want to hear, then we figure out what is doable, what is manageable with what we have. Because the last thing someone wants to hear is, oh, it's okay, if that's really not the answer that they wanted. And I tell people that there's times when you can say, oh, it'll be fine. And then 4 inches, or try to talk yourself into it being fine. And 4 inches down the road, you're still staring at it. You're still just really bugged by it. And it's like, it was worth it to rip it out at that point. And maybe should have happened before that, So what do we got? I'm still learning how to fix things. So when I try to fix things, I sometimes make things worse. So I leave things. I would love to get better at fixes. I hear that completely. I teach fix your mistakes at the shop every couple of months, every 2 to 3 months, because I think everyone can benefit from that. And I think a fundamental start to that is, and I don't know where you are in your journey, so this is not meant as criticism or as well, do this, and why aren't you doing that? And a lot of it can come from learning to read your stitches. And if you're already reading your stitches to see how they interact and like logic out what goes on with that, then sometimes it's just practice. And unfortunately, practicing fixing mistakes tends to happen the most when you make a lot of mistakes and fudge around with it. Like Lisa, you're saying, like I have a set way that I fix mistakes at this point, and I teach my class to fix mistakes. And a lot of it's from exactly what you say you're doing. A lot of it is from, okay, let's try this. That didn't work. Let's try this. That didn't work. And sometimes you try enough stuff and then there's a big hole. And you just got to sew it up. You got to fudge it later. And sometimes you can benefit from trying a sample swatch with the same problem. Although, or just messing around with things on a piece that doesn't have the emotional weight that a piece you're working on, or an investment and time that a piece you're working on has. So that's what we do in my Fix Your Mistakes class. Is I have people bring in a little square that they've knit with garter at the bottom, knitting every row, and knit a row, purl a row at the top, and it's still on their needles. And we mess around with that swatch. So we're not messing around with a piece that you've got investment in, that it's this, there's a lot of anxiety that can be invested in something you're working on. To play around with something that you don't have that much investment in can sometimes give you the confidence to dive in when there is that investment. But you're going to come across things that it's like, I don't know how this happened, so I don't know how to fix it. And you can't recreate that in a swatch necessarily when you're not sure. I've had some knitters say, what happened? And I'll go, even if I was sitting there, I'll go, I don't know, but let's see what we can do based on how it should look to fix it. I also can remember I was doing a fix your brioche mistakes video, and I did the video. I was halfway done with it. I'm like, okay, you're gonna put in your crochet hook. You're gonna boop 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 boop. Look, it looks so pretty. And then I turned around to knit the next row and went, that wasn't right. It's all foobarred on the back. So what I thought was a logical fix, it turned out to be a lot more complicated than I thought. And I had to refilm the whole entire thing, and I had to teach myself how to do it before I could teach everybody else. And it really is, it's getting yourself into a circumstance where there is a less pressure can help you in the times when there is more pressure. Practicing. I mean, I could see a whole life lessons from knit and crochet about that, because I think about, oh, you're welcome. I think about when I'm working with my therapist on how to talk to people, that kind of thing. And it's like in the moment, it's like, oh crap, it didn't happen and it didn't go. And there's something to be said for practicing mantras before the occasion arises. It's hard to do, though. It's hard to find the time when it's like, but I just want to go do this, or I just want to make progress on this. And so I get that too. So let's see. Jen saying, anyone I help who is having frequent fixes is to go back to the basics of stitch markers. Yes, for maintaining stitch counts and repeats. I firmly believe that too. Break things down into smaller chunks. Lifelines, so getting something in so it'll only drop so far if you have to pull it out. Absolutely. Frequent counting pauses. Slower. Yes, I agree with everything on that, Jen. Absolutely. I always go back to the joke, you rush a miracle man, you get rotten miracles. You know, it's I use it in lots of different circumstances, but go slower to go faster. It's if you slow down and breathe more, sometimes it clears the head and you can see what's going on. And sometimes it just taking your time to really see what's going on, even if you have to back stuff out because it didn't go right. If you can do a little bit of like, okay, why didn't it go right? What do I think happened? Even if you don't figure that out on the first time, you're still learning stuff. You're still in the process. It's really the whole process, not product. Everyone's somewhere on the process versus product spectrum. I do it because I love the stitching. I do it because I need to have something in my hands. I do it because I want to have stuff done at the end. And I find we've had the question a lot on our okay, that's where I'm trying to check where I am. We've had the question a lot on our other podcast of like, what do you think is better, or what are you, a process versus product knitter or crocheter? And I really feel like all of us are, it's not that we're just one or the other. That could be the answer to a lot of questions, right? We're not just one or the other. We're somewhere in there where we might love the process on certain projects more, or we might love having finished products and just want to burn through them all and just get through and finish and yay, I'm finished, and then start another. Or, you know, I think those of us who are a little more process oriented are the ones who are a little more comfortable having multiple projects on needles. But that doesn't mean that everyone who's monogamous knitter who just does something and gets it done, does something and gets it done, does something and gets it done, doesn't also love the process and learning new things or repeating the process. With making a ranunculus, you're repeating a process quite a few times. And there's multiple people here who have done multiple ranunculi, you know? So, Jen saying she jumped into knitting with lace patterns from being a crocheter. So crash course. Yeah. Like I have a class coming up this Saturday on reading knitting charts. And I don't have anyone signed up for it right now. It's in class, in shop. But yeah, reading knitting charts and reading crochet charts there are a few overlaps, and then there's a lot of differences, and it can be very helpful to know. But it's, let's see. Uh, on finding my love of the process to get to the product I was imagining and would love. Yeah, there's so much going on, right? I am just finishing up. This is perfect, but I found on most of these, I stay here for an hour and a half instead of just an hour, and I'm totally happy to stay with y'all a little longer if you want to stay a little longer. But officially, let's see. Oh, I got to do a slip knit and a knit one. I have finished the last round of the chart. So you can't really see it yet until I get the next row in, but up on the needle here, I have that last yarn over. So I have the top or bottom, depending on how you hold it, part of that flower. So like there's a chart on the Ranunculus, but you don't have to use the chart if you like what the lines are telling you to do. So what did we have in here while I was doing that? I'm on my third ranunculus after starting knit again after 40 years of crochet only. Hey, there you go. I love both knit and crochet. I'm going to try to get some more crochet things done. Two of my 5 finishes were crochet this February. And it reminded me, I'm making this maxi, the maxi scarf or shawl by Tony Lipsy. I really do want to finish that. In fact, I might start working on that a little bit more lately. It was my statement piece that was going to be mohair with lace weight and fuzzy and delicate, and because there's a lot of not misconceptions, but there's a lot of potential misconceptions and stereotypes and other things about both knit and crochet, but especially crochet from the knitter side. And I want to have some more pieces in the shop that show how delicate crochet can be, as well as being bulky and fun and fast. So, but I do have a lot more tops that are knit that I really love knitting. So, Deb saying my struggle lately has been finding a home for things. I'm on just a knit row around, so I'm going to try to read some. Oh, how many dishcloths does my mom need? Where does it all go? For now, I'm just knitting what I'm loving. I will say, I've started to realize we have a collection of samples we made for the shop over the years that the yarn is gone, or like there's things I don't wear anymore. I'm wondering if we should do a sale on our old samples, but then I don't even know how to price them. But absolutely. And when people are like, you should sell your stuff, that's a whole nother debate that we all know far too well as knitters and crocheters. And people come in all the time saying, are your samples for free or not for free, for sale? Blah, words. This is what happens after an hour, is my words start to go sideways. And trying to have that conversation. And it's like, if you love everything you do, yes, where do you put it all? What do you do? I have more sweaters than I could, not more sweaters than I could wear an entire winter, but I have more sweaters than I know what to do with, And I think knitting what you love is really important. It's really good. So, and Jen's telling Deb that she started donating socks to local elderly and dementia care facility. And Deb saying she donates single socks to the veterans home when they have people who've lost limbs. Oh, but they don't accept them now. You used to. Okay. I will say it's not quite in the vein of I finished something, what do I do with it? But if anyone is ever looking for something to do, like we talked, Deb, a while ago about losing your knitting mojo. If you're ever feeling like I don't really feel like buying yarn, I mean, as a yarn shop owner, I'm always hoping you'll buy yarn from me. But that's not the sole focus of this channel, especially. It's to help people, it's to keep people crafting, all those kind of things. I recently was telling a knitter whose mom, who was one of our knitters for a long time, passed, about the Loose Ends Project. And many of you may already know about the Loose Ends Project, but for some people, it's a nonprofit set up to help finish the unfinished projects of those who have passed for their families. And when we were looking at the site, it was any craft. And so, and I think it was any fiber craft, but it was any craft. And so, if this won't be for everybody, but if it might bring you joy to finish something for another family that has been left unfinished, I can tell you from experience, not from personal experience, but I can tell you from experience, like how profound that can be. But it may not be something that everyone feels like is in their groove to do. Like it can either be a rewarding experience, I think, or it could be really hard and be tough for someone to sit down and work on, knowing that it was someone else's and it's unfinished. So for some people that might be a good place to put your mojo for a bit if your personal making things for yourself is hard, you know. So let's see. I plan to start knitting things. Spiral Lab saying I plan to start knitting things and giving them away. I'm putting a little free library in my front yard and plan to knit and crochet products in it. That there you go, and donating to homeless shelters. There's so many places. It's checking to make sure that they can take the donations, because sometimes there's different rules and regulations for different organizations. And it may seem like, well, why do they have this no and this yes? And usually they have some kind of good reason for it. But the Linus Project is another one, and it's for I think it's for preemies and stuff, but it's for people. It might also be just for kids with terminal illnesses and stuff. There's lots of organizations out there. Oh, let's see. I finished 2 sweaters, a quilt, and a dress. It was so emotional and yet rewarding. Was that? Yeah, the Loose Ends Project. And sometimes it's a very emotional process, I think, for most people to do that. And so it's doing bits and pieces where you can, you know. I would love when I find out that crafters we have passed. I would love to finish all their projects. We've had several over the years, but it's the reality for me as a business owner is it's hard enough to, as you can see from Finish Your Frog in February, to get my own stuff done. So, but that sometimes it's when you're not sure where your energy can go, test the waters on that. Like check in with yourself and say, would this be a good thing for me? You know? And if the answer is no, that's okay too. It really isn't about like trying to shame people into working on other people's stuff or something. It's really about what is going to bring you joy. And for some people that will be the answer, and for other people it's like, not so much so. I find there's a lot of crafters out there who don't make things for themselves. And for whatever reason, either a heartwarming reason or a I shouldn't focus on myself reason. And yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, right? There's a lot of really checking in and saying it's okay to make something for yourself. And it doesn't have to be, I work on this with my therapist all the time. It doesn't have to be because you've made so many things for other people or you have to hit a benchmark. But if that's something that works for you or makes you feel better about it, that's okay too. It's just, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be, well, if I get 5 things done for other people, then maybe I'll think about myself. It always reminds me of people telling me, and it's been so hard, and I'm still not fully actualizing this, the whole if you give and give and give, because I like to do that. But if you give and give and give, it's like pouring out a bucket. And when there's nothing left in the bucket, you can't keep pouring it out. So it's I'm sure you've heard it before. Fill your own bucket first. Put your oxygen mask on before you help others. Otherwise, multiple people on the plane are not going to make it. So as many times as I have heard that, it's like, yeah. Only now am I starting to really try to embody that And it has been quite a journey. Absolutely. Having boundaries and saying, you know what, I can't do that today. I need to take some time for myself, and maybe I can do that for you tomorrow. So, and Jen, hey, there you go. Um, I'm only knitting for me this year because almost everything I've knit I gave away. There you go. And it's one of those, both that I commend you for both parts of that. And it's okay if you make things for yourself before you give stuff away, or instead of giving stuff away. It's like it's always good to do things for other people. But it also is, you got to check in and say, am I taking care of myself? And it's not a bad thing to take care of yourself. And I'm saying this more because this is how I feel inside a lot, of trying to work with that, And a lot of times I'm probably preaching to the choir, or people are like, yeah, I learned that lesson 10 years ago. I'm still working on it. So and like doing winter hours recently has really led me to, I'm prioritizing myself in that. By doing that, I am being better to the shop, and I'm being better to you all when I take some time for myself. But I'm still having that whole, but I haven't filmed this week. And it's like, no, if I don't film this week, I'll be better hopefully next week. I'll be more cogent. I'll make more sense in what I'm going to say next week. So, we got Deb saying, I love when someone asks me to make them something within reason, of course. I once had, I decided to make stuff for my advisees at school when they were graduating, and then went and I said, make it something small. I can do something small. And I had 4 kids one year, 4 or 5, I can't remember now. And they were like, okay, how about gloves? And how about socks? And like, those are small. And I was like, oh, they're small, but they're teeny tiny yarn, but okay. So Deb saying, I knit 4 pairs of little kids' fingerless mitts for my daughter-in-law's nieces and nephews and enjoyed it so much. Yes, it really is finding what makes you happy. If making things for yourself makes you happy, that's awesome. Go with it. If making things for other people makes you happy, you can go with it. And for either one of those, if someone is telling you, no, you should be, that goes both ways. We say at the shop, should is a shame word. And so if someone is like, you should be making things for yourself, you make too many things for other people, or you should you should be making more things for other people, you make too much for yourself. Both of those are really shaming comments. They're really judgmental. And it's like, oftentimes it's like, what business do you have to tell me what I should be doing with my stuff? And the thing about making those kind of shaming comments, I find, whether it's in the knitting world and crochet world or outside of it, it's like, you shouldn't be eating so much. You should be exercising more, or you should be donating more to charities, or like, you should be doing this and this. It's really, what ends up happening is, oftentimes it makes the person react and not want to do the thing that you, maybe with best of intentions, are telling them to do. And it's like, shame has never been, like, I come back to the weight thing a lot because I'm dealing with that myself. Shame has never been, I remember reading in Brene Brown's stuff, a good motivator to get someone to lose weight. It's never been a good thing of like, well, you should be knitting 10 minutes a day if you want to get any better, or you should be knitting 3 hours a day if you want to get any better. That doesn't put the joy on it that can come from reaching a milestone or getting better at something. Yes, practice is important for many things, and learning skills, it's muscle memory. But I'm switching more back to knitting and crocheting now. Muscle memory and building it and repetition can be really important, but not shaming someone to get there. So Jen saying that, so first of all, Deb saying, right, mind your own business. Yeah. And Jen saying, knitting and sewing for me is so much fun. I was shamed out of doing for me since I had such talent and gift. Yes, but shouldn't I benefit from my own gifts as well? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, yeah, it's the same thing of when people walk in and they're like, "But could you just fix this for me?" Because, the guilt trip of, "But I'm here." And it's like, "Yeah, but I got to look after myself." And I should be sharing some of this gift and talent with myself. Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, there's so much to unpack there too of like you have a gift and you should share it with the world. And it's just like, when I want to, I will. And that seems to go in line with, oh, but you should sell what you make. You'd make so much money. And it's like, do you have any idea how long it took me to make this? That's not, I've done the whole slaving over things I'm making, not so much with the knit and crochet, but slaving over things I'm making to go to a market and have like 5 things sell and have people come in and say, this is too expensive. And that is a very emotionally draining experience. So I get it on all of those things. So um yeah, it's when it becomes a job. So like the bags I'm making, I'm like, these are so exciting and I'm enjoying them so much. And I'm enjoying that people want to buy them. But I'm always wary of it becoming a job or becoming something that doesn't have as much joy to it. And then I'm also wary of not doing it because I'm worried about it losing its joy. Like there's a catch 22 there, Okay. I have, by the way, okay. Oh, look at this. All right. I just did round 22, but round 22 through 25 is knit to the end of the marker. So I'm going to hang with y'all till 4:30. And now that I've been espousing upon these ideas, I stopped knitting, but I'm pretty sure I just finished row 22. If I can get to row 25, that will have me picking up at a great place next time where I'm starting to do that pulling the loop through. And wouldn't it be great if I could get to the end of this page 8, and pick a size next time? It could be that I'm not picking a size for for 2 months the way this is going, but I'd love to see if I can pick a size next month. That would be great. I'm going to say when I start factoring into how many times have I done this and how much time have I spent on this sweater, probably a good hour and a half every time we meet. I know the first time it was only like, there's been times when it's only been an hour, but I think if I can get through a little more of this, so 20, 23, 24, 25, 3 rows of knitting in a circle before I go, I think I can get there. Might be a little after 4:30, but it'll be there. Yeah, okay, that's true. That's true. Deb keeps reminding me the first time. But, then it's like a sheep to shawl type of thing. It's true. The whole first hour, it was winding my yarn and casting on. But that's the true, like going from skein to sweater. That is absolutely a very good point, though. I do have, been working on this for what, 4 months? 5? I don't even know anymore. But the first time I didn't get a whole lot done because I cast on while talking and I messed it up after winding the yarn. And that took most of a whole hour. Absolutely. But let's see if I can get how far I get in the next 7 minutes. It is just straight knitting. So even if I start to talk about something, if I just keep going, and I'll shout out numbers when I get around. We did have that increase row. So this is 180 stitches to get around instead of 150. So I'm preloading my needle here. I'm getting it super jammed up. The only danger with that is keeping track in case your stitches kind of like flip over each other, but I'm getting it preloaded so I can just knit and knit and knit and knit for a hot minute. and see where I can get to. And I still have a bunch back here, but I'm going to slide them up and preload a little more. There's my beginning of round marker. Let's see where I can get. Let's see. Last week it took me 3 hours to wind one twist. Oh no. Oh no. It was a mess with no ties and sometimes fingering weight just whew. Oh wow. Jen says she did a 3D print of a jumbo cake winder. And oh, I would love to hear how that goes and if it worked out because I've heard of lots of awesome things that you can do in a 3D printer. And if you can handle bigger cakes, like I'm finding, okay, so price is going up crazy. I'm looking to order in. We don't have the Knit Pro winders right now, the plastic ones that you just clamp on and wind up. The ones that, okay, hang on. This is my Royal winder. It's here on a shelf because I handball a lot. But the Knit Pro version of this is the next time we order it, it had been creeping up. It was $40 or so when we first started bringing them into the shop, 35 or 40. It's going to be $60 retail the next time at minimum, the next time I order it. Because I'm looking at what it's my cost and just going, holy crap. And tariffs that they came from India, and tariffs from India have gone down because I think that's part of the Supreme Court stuff. But I don't think our prices are going to go down. I think, I mean, there's still some tariffs out there, and it's just once prices go up, it's really hard to bring them back down again. So we'll see. But some of the US made ones, the pieces are still expensive, and handcrafting them makes them expensive. So having a winder that is going to be cost effective may not be something I can do anymore. So people may just have to rely on if they can 3D print their own or get them from someone that does stuff like that. That is really cool. So, yep. The Royal Winder is the one a lot of people had, and it was made in Japan, and it's not made anymore. So there's the Lacey's version of it is still going to be about $40 to $50. And the Knit Pro one is going to be a lot more now, unfortunately. So we're trying to bring both of them into the shop. But so it's geared. Awesome. Oh, that hopefully, because there's a lot of plasticky gears inside of these now. And so hopefully, if the filament you're using is substantial enough, that should be fantastic. So, oh, Deb found one at Goodwill. I didn't know what it was. I'm not surprised. Okay. Round 23 is done. So I'm going to just go to right about, like, I might only get round 24 done, but I'm going to mark on my paper that I still have round 25 to go. I don't think I'm going to get 2 rounds done in 3 minutes. But that lets me have a warm-up row before I do a pull-up row right at the beginning of next time. So, and Tresicello usually is here to like say, here's where you were. I will make sure I write it down in case, Tresa, you look at this later. I will write it down on my paper before I go anywhere here. So I know and round 25, that's a nice, like substantial number to start on. It's a quarter, 25, a quarter of 100, but, so we can know that that's where I'm picking up. And I will try to think in the next month about what size I might want to make because I'm still in the section where everybody does the same thing. But I'm almost through the part where it is the exciting, new, and different stuff. So we'll have to see. Those of you who want to stick with us on this, we'll have to see if things go faster or slower once I get to the more monotonous knitting. It could be that hanging out with y'all and chatting about things and monogamously and monotonously knitting helps me get stuff done faster. Who knows? That is fantastic. All right, I'm already on 429 here. Like I said, I'm going to finish this row because I think picking up on row 25, both from writing it down and from leaving on a nice, easy number to remember. It's the knit row before one of the pull through rows. I think that's going to work really well. All right, I am. Whew, I'm still trying to preload this sucker. The beginning of round is right there. Boop. I'm probably like halfway around. So hang on with me. I'm going to get as far as I can in here. I'm just hearing the swishing of my needles. It is 4:30, but I'm going to count. It only is an hour and a half of knitting to get to the end of this row. I don't think it's going to take me, like 10 more minutes or anything. But definitely while I'm doing this, I say thank you all for coming. And I'm trying to peek at my calendar. April, it's gonna be Easter Monday is the day to do this. Some people might have that off from work. It's gonna be April 6th, I think, is the next one of these. Because March goes through, April starts in like the middle of the week. So it looks on my calendar like April 6th is the first Monday in April. I am not traveling for Easter, so I will be around. And I hope you all will join me on April 6th for the next one of these. And I will pick up where I leave off here. I'm just trying to get, end of round needle, stitch marker is up on my needle. Someone's trying to call me and they need to go away. Okay. Love being able to dismiss it on my watch. It's pretty cool. Let me just get a little further. It's getting closer. It's right there. Boop. Thank you all for joining me. And thanks to anyone who chose to watch this later. I always try to publish this on the Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks YouTube channel. And we'll see what I can get done this week in terms of filming for this channel or filming for lessons. I have thoughts and plans, but I also am trying to fill my bucket instead of always draining my bucket, as we were saying. And that can be challenging sometimes. I am learning. Even with giving myself more time, I find that I feel busier than ever. So, but hopefully some of that busyness is restorative, if that makes sense. All right, I'm almost there. I can feel the beginning of round marker under my fingers here. And so I did 5 or 6 rounds of knitting. Oh, we got hi from the UK, from Manchester, and we're about to wrap up. But it's really good to see you. I'm so glad you said you were here. I really, really appreciate that. We always start, for us, it's, and the time change is happening soon too. So, but it's going to happen hopefully well in enough time. I just hit my beginning of row marker for us to adjust our clocks to when this will happen on April 6th. It's always 3 p.m. or what is that, 1500? Yeah, right, Deb? Time changes this weekend. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. But 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern time. So use whatever time telling devices you have to figure that out to join us on the first Monday of every month. And because that's my Sunday or one of my days off for the weekend. So let's take a look at, if I spread this out a little, I think that's starting to look like a ranunculus. Can you see those little flowers there? Right in there. There we go. Right in there. So I've got the pull throughs, I've got the ribbing, I have the flowers now. I am almost through the fancy part at the top. And then I get to go into the raglan increases. I think that looks really pretty. I'm really excited to see how this one is compared to the thicker one I'm making. Before we go, Deb is asking, what yarn is this again? This is Fiber Spates 4-ply. So it's a fingering weight, and it's one of their botanical hand dyes. So Fiber Spates out of the UK. It's Fiber Spates 4-ply. It is, I only have one skein. I'm hoping I can get what I want out of one skein. We'll see. 399 yards. And look how nice and delicate that's going to be. And I always do all of my ranunculus sweaters on a size 10 needle, a 6mm, US 10, 6mm. And because people are like, oh, thinner or thicker. These are both being done on a 6mm needle. Erin, heavy worsted, fingering weight, 4-ply. And I'm going to love them both. This is going to be long sleeve. This is going to be short sleeve, but not the full short sleeve of the pattern, like a little couple of inches of ribbing, maybe after sleeve separation. Thank you guys. I'm seeing a lot of thank yous, and have a good time until next time. And I say the same thing. I will see you all next time. I'm going to go do some sewing. I have this really cool fabric I found in Illinois that is different measuring tapes and stuff. And I just think it's awesome. And I'm going to try to make something fun out of it. So I'll be doing a live on Instagram. Thank you. If I get something with that done, I'll show it on Instagram tomorrow at 8:30 my time, US Eastern. But that's not going to be here on YouTube. I'm on too many platforms, I know. But the next time I will see you all and work on my ranunculus is April 6th. Bye, everybody. It's good to see you. And I'm going to go rest. Stitching is my rest now. Bye.